How's it going? I'm Big John. Welcome to Manderstanding, and this is Real Man's Chili. Got some ingredients out here I want to share with you, and then we're going to get to cooking, and then we'll taste test, and then you guys can make this at home. Alright, so we're starting off with 2 pounds of beef, 2 pounds of ground sausage. We got some green peppers, yellow peppers, orange peppers, and red, 1 of each. Got 2 onions, like a lot of onion in my chili. Got some garlic powder, Montreal steak seasoning, some chili powder, some Johnny seasoning salt, 2 packets of McCormick's chili mix, 1 hot, 1 regular, Worcestershire, mustard, some apple cider vinegar, some homemade Habanero Hot Sauce. We got some sliced up jalapenos, ketchup, got some Smokies barbecue pineapple bourbon, my favorite. We can talk more about that later. Got 4 cans of baked beans, all different flavor. We got 1 honey, we got 1 home style, 1 country style, and 1 maple. We also got some diced peeled tomatoes, a large can, small can of tomato paste, and 1 can of tomato sauce. This is going to make our Real Man's Chili. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cook up our onions with some butter. We got our big clay pan here that we can throw in the oven when we're all said and done. So I'm pretty generous with the butter. Grab a nice, I don't know, quarter, half a stick. Get that melting down. Then we're going to throw in our onions here. Again, a nice generous portion of onions. They cook down a lot, so you're going to want to have plenty. Start to let those cook up and brown, caramelize. Alright, here's our onions starting to sizzle up. Getting a little color to them, starting to shrink a little bit. The butter's getting nice and melted, coating those nicely. Alright, so next we're going to add in our peppers. Our onions have a nice clear color here, which is what you want. You want to get it nice and soft and clear. That's the key you're looking for, is that clear color for them. So let's add in all our peppers here and start getting them softened. Remember, it was 1 of each. 1 red, 1 yellow, 1 orange, 1 green. Oh yeah, and this is going to be a big ass pot of chili. This thing's going to be full. You'll be eating on it for days. Some of the things I like to do with the leftovers is chili dip, chili quesadillas, chili dogs. So much shit you can do with chili. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes. Our peppers are starting to soften. It's time to put in the meat and the spices. First, our 2 pounds of beef goes in. That's a big hunk of beef. And then we're going to go ahead and just break that up, get it nice and browned, and then we'll add in our pork. And then we'll add in our spices. So as a side note here, you don't want to drain the fat off your meat. Not your pork or your beef. You want to let that soak into all those vegetables. The spices are going to coat it. It's going to become one cohesive, nice little sauce almost that we're going to then layer everything on top of. I want to talk a bit about spice also. This is going to be a spicy chili. If you can't handle spicy chili, I suggest you just close the video and go find some pussy chili somewhere for your gentle palate, because this ain't going to be it. This ain't your mama's chili. This is man's chili. Alright, so our burger's all browned. We're going to start adding in our pork. Probably about put 1 pound in here and break it up. Don't want it too finely broken up. I like chunky pieces of pork in my chili. And now the other pound. Break that up as well. Alright, let's start adding some spices. So I'm going to add some spices here, but I'm not going to measure shit, because there's 2 things that men don't do. 1, when we cook, we don't measure. And 2, when we drive, we don't ask for directions. So, I don't know, I'm going to give you my guess approximation here. Probably about, I don't know, a teaspoon of garlic powder. Probably about 2.5 teaspoons of Montreal steak seasoning. About a teaspoon of Johnny's seasoning salt. 6 shakes of Worcestershire. Yeah, I know I said that shit wrong. This is Smokey's barbecue sauce. My buddy makes this. Best barbecue sauce. If you want to know more about that, let me know. It is the best. This is his pineapple bourbon mix. Going to add a little bit of sweetness here. Going to put in about, let's see, 2-3 tablespoons of that. Going to add some chili powder. Not too much of that, probably just a teaspoon. And I'm going to do a little bit of apple cider vinegar just to add a little bitter. About a teaspoon of that. Going to add our 2 packets of chili mix. Got our original and our hot. Again, for you pansies, you can just do original. Alright, and last but not least, the unnamed. This is our homemade Habanero Hot Sauce. This is the shit. If you want to know more about this, bribe me. And we're going to be pretty generous because we like our chili manly. Going to go with a nice, generous 2 tablespoons of that. Alright, let's mix this shit up. Yes, it is a meaty chili, and it is going to be a beanie chili as well. Alright, once we got this all mixed up, I'm going to put the cover on. I'm going to let this sausage cook up some, probably about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll add in our beans. We'll cover it up. We'll bake it for at about 250 for right around 4 hours. If you can't bake it, just go ahead and leave it on the stovetop, put it on low, make sure you're stirring it every 20 minutes. You don't want this shit to stick. If you ruin this, you're going to cry, because it's going to be damn good. Alright, so our meat is all browned. Our hamburger, our pork, both all brown. Time to start adding beans and our final ingredients. So we're going to add them a can at a time. Do not drain off the juice. It's an important part here. Scrape out the last bits you miss. A lot of people like to use, their own beans that they soak overnight and do all their stuff too. I think that Bush's baked beans have awesome flavor, better than I could ever spend the time doing. Probably not could, but would. Let's put it that way. Alright, that's 3 cans. Look, starting to get pretty full here. We still got to add our tomato products, our paste, very important. Tastes like shit by itself, but when you put it in things, it's not half bad. But again, I'm not going to sit there and scrape out every last little drop. Just get what you can. Can of tomato sauce. And finally, for tomatoes, can of diced peeled. These are crushed peeled. Even better. Alright, and there's 2 final touches. 3 final touches. Need some yellow mustard, just French's. Be generous here. I'd say that was probably 1/3 of a bottle. Next up is some ketchup. Probably about 1/2 cup. finally, jalapenos. For those of you who opted out of making a spicy chili like a bitch, you won't add these. I'd say you probably want about 20, 25 slices. Make sure that every bowl has, you know, 2 or 3 of them in there. Alright. Now, a very, very full pot of chili here needs to get mixed up gently. So our final step is to throw this thing in the oven. It's going to go in for 4 hours at about 225. Make sure you put it on the center of the rack, especially if you have one of these heavy-ass pots. Alright, 4 hours from now, we'll be enjoying our chili. Stir it every 20 minutes. Don't slack.